right, boys and girls, you heard it correctly. Esports is dead, and you may wonder, why does it matter? Why does anyone care? Did you know that the U.S. government in some states, I think it may have been Pennsylvania. I may be wrong, but I think it's Pennsylvania. They were offering scholarships so that people go and play esports. You had teachers encouraging children, chat, encouraging children to go and play esports. It was kind of like the NFL. It was kind of like, just don't study math, don't study physics. Go and chase that little ball. Go and run up the hill so you can chase that little ball better with 13 other people so that you can become a manly man and then mock people who watch anime on Twitter, right? It was kind of like that. It's esports. Esports. Turns out, I will give you my opinion on esports. It used to be fun when it was authentic. Because I, as a gamer, I speak a lot of gamer words, right? If you do not give an aneurysm to the HR lady when you're there, if you do not use more slurs than South Park Season 1, are you really a gamer? Is this who you want to be? Like, look, I understand from feminism, I have been educated, that men have to cry, but men also have to be toxic. If I'm not toxic, then I can be toxic in public. I can be toxic in front of the HR lady and hospitalize her. Like, believe me, I know slurs that she doesn't even know exist. I am capable of such hate speech that it cracks reality. And I need an outlet. I need a safe space where I can go, like you have in those cartoons from California, yeah, where you have like the woman going in with some pillows and screaming in the pillows, right? You're going, ah! It's like that. I need to go somewhere and then say what I really think. I need to let loose. I need to do the Hassesprache. And if I'm not allowed to do the Hassesprache, it's not healthy, right? Like psychologists have said that it's not healthy. You bottle it up inside, you keep it up inside, and that's not good, right? But you have like all of these activists and all of these morons that come in and it's like, no, we need to sanitize gaming. We need to make absolutely sure that when people play online, they behave. And that's when esports got boring. Like just so you know how boring it was, it's like at a BlizzCon, one person did the okay sign. Like that's it, they did the okay sign. Immediately, a judge descended upon thee and said, it's like, no, that is the sign for white power. We don't want any Nazis here, so if you do the sign again, you're going to be banned. I'm not kidding, that's an actual thing, right? Just so you can understand how sanitized esports was. There was another guy which was playing Hearthstone. This was like a major event, a major competition. And he was facing against an Asian opponent. And while he was playing, he pressed his fingers to his eyelids. And apparently, the referee got him a fine because they said that that was like a slur. Like he was trying to make the squinty eyes towards his opponent. And I'm like, motherfucker, why would I watch this? Like, it's so boring, It's like just seeing like the whole thing with gaming, right? It used to be like when I went to a net cafe. I like listen to the curses, the slurs, like all of the trash talk and the banter and all of that. Just seeing a person staying like there with poker face as if the HR lady has a gun at their head and they're playing Hearthstone, that is boring as fuck. That is not entertaining. Like, I know the build that they're going to get because I have access to the internet and I can go online and I can see what builds people have without actually them playing, right? So just like seeing a person sit there and they have to like make absolutely sure they don't make any joke because the moment they say or do anything, it can end up with them getting a fine, right? And you don't even know. You don't even know what the fuck you can say that will get you in trouble. Like, for instance, I remember when I was playing StarCraft, there was a lot of trash talking, right? Like, this was back in the slur era. And there was this guy, he was playing against a female opponent. And he was asked on Twitter, right? Like, not even in real life, like on Twitter. what are you going to do? And it's like, I'm going to rape her. Which, granted, if you say this towards a man, like on a strategy game, right, in StarCraft, like, say, I can go and find, like, countless other opponents that have said the exact same thing in an esport environment. It was like, yeah, I'm going to rape him, like, this was gamer talk. This was part of the subculture. Like, I'm sorry if you don't like it. I understand. Maybe it's not for you, but it was for millions of other people. Right? Like, why do you get to dictate how millions of other people get to communicate? Like, it was part of a niche thing. It wasn't something which, affects reality. It was just men being toxic with other men. But now, this guy says it, right? He says it on Twitter, doesn't even say it in front of her, right? They allow the game to continue. This is what really bothered me, right? It wasn't like a warning or anything like that. No. They allow the game to continue. And once the game is finished, he wins, and that's when the referee comes in and gives her the win. And I'm like, well, what the fuck does his behavior outside of the game has to do with who's a better player? Because she lost anyway, But it's like, the thing is, no, like she is the victor, she is the champion, despite the fact that she lost. And it's like this disgusting attitude that made me completely turned off from esports. It's like, well, is it a competition of who's a better StarCraft player, or is it a competition like who's a more decent human? It's like who is a better person for society? Because that's the thing. It's like, well, how can you as a professional player behave in such a way? And I'm like, well, he's behaving like a gamer. Right? Is he not a gamer? Why do you want him to behave like he's in a corporate environment? V power word slur makes gaming fun. It literally does. I remember when, but let me put it this way, right? Like football. Football. Soccer. Don't they have like hooligans, right? Like you go into the stands with your buddies, you're drinking beer, and you're trash talking. Isn't that what football is about? Right? Because otherwise you watch it alone. Like, I'm willing to bet if they were to sanitize football, like if you go into the stands, you just have to sit there with your hands behind your back. You're not allowed to say anything. You're not allowed to say anything negative, right? And if you do say something negative, you get a fine, which will make people just not make any type of joke. I guarantee you no one will watch football. Like, people will just leave and not watch it if that was the case, right? No, seriously, imagine this. Just imagine this. If you're in front of your television at home and you're watching football, let's say that the television records you, right? Like you have one of those smart TVs with a microphone and it records what you're saying. And if you say anything that is deemed problematic, you get a fine. Okay, now if that was to happen, then anyone that watches TV would be self-conscious to the point where they wouldn't say anything because they would be afraid. It's like, what if I say this joke and it gets me into trouble? So they would rather not say anything. And over time, no one would watch football anymore because it would be boring. It would be something which most people wouldn't want to do it. Slurring an enemy into tilting is a legitimate competitive strategy. It is! But it's not only that, right? I would even go forward. I would even go further than this. I remember Evo, right? When I used to watch it, it was fun. So I would watch like, for those of you who don't know, Evo is the fighting game championship, right? So you get to play Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Tekken. And sometimes the players actually took the fight in real life, right? So you had like people taking the keyboard and smacking someone else with the keyboard. But like these were dorks, right? Like they didn't do a lot of damage. I mean these were people that stayed in home all their days playing video games, right? Because like they're professionals. They don't have time for other shit. So like you're talking about a dork, with glasses that sits at home from dusk till dawn and plays Ryu and Ken on Street Fighter. Like he's not going to do any damage. Like realistically speaking, right? Like you're not worried about him. But every now and then they would freak out, right? Because like they would lose. So they would take the keyboard and try to smack the opponent, and then like they would get immediately mobbed by 20 other people. That was funny. That was hilarious. That was entertaining. I would pay to see that. I want to see that shit. I don't want to see like a guy that sits there playing Hearthstone with poker face. That's not entertaining. If I want to see that, I can see it in real life. You know, I pay a friend of mine to do it. Am I wrong though? You know, a lot of people, they watch F1, which is basically cars going around in a circle. You have the car, and the car goes spinny, 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 and that's it, right? And I'm thinking, who the fuck watches that? Like, why would you watch that? And then I saw a crash. Then I was like, boom, 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 boom. That was entertaining. All of a sudden, when I was a kid, I wanted to watch F1. Now I wanted to see the crashes. You know, this was before YouTube came out. Before YouTube had like car crash compilation 2022 or whatever, right? Before that, it was ding 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 bam bam wow 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 bam 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 bam. Like that was good. That was good. And there were people who admitted that that's why they watched it, and then there were other people that would lie to themselves. People would stab each other in the arcades. I actually never had that in my country, luckily. I mean, look, I will give you this, you know. Any betting game or games that involve money can have violence. Like, a lot of people say, oh my god, video games have violence, and like, look, this Counter-Strike player attacked this. Okay, have you seen what people do in casinos, though? Like, if casinos didn't have security, Jesus fucking Christ. I seen people chimp out on the horse racings. We're on television. Like, some guy lost at horse racing and attacked people. It's like, it's human nature, right? Like, if you're talking about tens of thousands of people statistically, you're going to have some outliers. And when they do that, they should get arrested. I don't care if they get banned from the competition or not, but, like, you know, it's one thing. If you're like a dork, and you chimp out and you take the keyboard and you smack the other guy, you know, with the keyboard. Like, that's not even painful. But if you're going to actually, like, assault someone with a knife or something like that, you need to belong in prison. Right? You get prison time. And then after serving the prison time, you come out as a model and reformed citizen. Reigning Terror V, they started censoring the hobby to cater to women, even though men and women like being toxic anonymously. I mean, this is another thing, right? I remember, like, buying into the mantra that, you know, women don't like cursing, women don't like toxicity. And this was, like, 2016, where most women didn't play video games because they thought that games are for children. Right? Like, this is what the women in my school told me. It's like, when are you going to grow up? When are you going to stop playing games? Like, you're mature now. You're over the age of 18. Children play games. Okay? Adults like football and cars. Like, that's what your hobbies need to be now. Like, right? So it was very unpopular to play video games, basically. And you know, like, every now and then you'd actually meet a woman that played video games. It was, like, really fun. I mean, that was, like, girlfriend material. But the women that played video games weren't interested in you. They were interested in the jocks. But you know, I was constantly told that the reason women don't like it is because of the trash talking, right? Like, women just don't know what to do with trash talking. It's like, they're taken aback. You know, they've never encountered it before. They just do not know how to operate if someone trash talks them. It's like complete panic mode, right? So I genuinely believe it's like, okay, so like if women were to play video games, then they would be, I don't know, like two people dressed in suits and behave incredibly professional, right? And then God blessed me with a colleague at the university that was into League of Legends. And my God, no one was as toxic as that bitch. Like she was bringing it on. Like the thing is, like, she actually was a decent player. I mean, she was in Diamond at the time. Like, that was pretty good, right? Like, I used to be, like, I think Gold 2, right? She was in Diamond 3. She knew how to play. And the thing is, like, when she flamed you with purpose. Like, she wasn't just flaming you, you know, because there's, like, two types of flaming. It's, like, getting flamed by the bronze players that don't know how to play, and they say some dumb shit while they're playing awful, and they're blaming their team, you know? And those flames don't really get to you. Because you're like, well, he's an idiot, just mute block, right? He doesn't know what he's doing. But when you're getting flamed by someone that actually does know how to play the game, is also a beautiful and attractive woman, and on top of that, she points out the flaws that you did perfectly and she didn't do it. My God, it gets under your fucking skin. It really does. But my point is, though, that women are toxic. Yes, like, women are capable of toxicity. It's not something that they do not know how to do. And most women didn't care, to be honest, right? Like you had a couple of harpies that were like, oh my God, you know, I'm in the moment I'm saying something, people are like using power word sexismus against me. And it's like, yeah, but you're using power word virginismus against them as well, right? Because I remember, like, the default insult that women had were like, you're a virgin, right? Stuck in your mother's basement. No one looks at you. When are you going to get laid? Get those pimples washed up. I mean, that's what women used to say. And it was fine, you know, because it was trash talking. Like, you know why people did it. Long live esports, yeah. You see the gloves off women on women violence. Oh yeah, they don't talk about that. The thing with, like, women on women violence, like, I experienced it in high school. It was like the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. And then I saw it on TV as well. Like in high school, right? We weren't that forward thinking when I grew up. Like, it wasn't this whole thing with what do you have today? Zero tolerance. Yes, zero tolerance for bullying. Yeah, we didn't have that. We grew up under socialism. And the rule was simple. Like, the rule was like this. If you get in a fight, as long as there's no blood or permanent damage, the teacher would just give you a slap on the wrist. It was like, stop it. You know? Or enough. Like if the teacher caught you fighting, they would break you apart. But people weren't like, oh my God. I mean, I remember there was like this thing in the UK where, like, one teenager dropped some water on the face of another teenager, and it was like, BBC News, breaking news, waterboarding in high school. It's like, what the fuck are you on about? Apparently they weren't even friends, like when they looked at it, right? But my point is, you know, I lived in a very violent time. I lived in the barbaric ages where Conan the Barbarian was at high school. That's how I grew up. And usually, like, when guys got in a fight, it was over within like 5 minutes. Like, kind of like that. You know, they go out, they punch each other a little bit, and then they're still friends. The next day, they're still talking with each other, right? It was... I mean, most of the time, it didn't even manage to get a crowd. It was like something really fast. You know, it's like one guy just picks you up, throws you in a wall. You know, and you raise your hands like, are you done? Are you done? Done. Okay. You know, that was pretty much it. When boys were fighting, it was over pretty fucking quick. It wasn't like in the movies. Oh my God, the Neo is fighting Morpheus and everyone makes... No. But my fucking God, when women were fighting, holy shit. It took usually more than 15 minutes. And it was with biting, hair tugging, scratches. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. It was horrible. It was horrible. It's like... Yeah, pick you up and throw. Well, you know, in high school, when you hit puberty, some kids grow faster than others, and the sizes are quite significant. So, like, he wouldn't actually, like, lift you off the ground, but like, if you messed up with someone that was twice your size, yeah, with one hand, literally, he could pull you back, and then wait for the inertia to kick in, and after the inertia kicks in, he would throw you against the wall. Yeah, it was, like, significant enough that you wouldn't want to continue after that. They always go for the hair and aim for the... See, I don't know about that, but, like, what I do know is that probably guys don't go for the hair because, like, other guys don't have hair, you know? But like if guys had hair, well, actually no, I never actually wanted to go for a man's hair ever. Like even if he had long hair, I don't think I would pull it. The only exception, I guess, if the man is trying to run away, and you still want to have the conversation, right? So there have been some words left to be said, and the man is running away, and you're like trying to grab onto him, and the only thing you got is the long hair. Like if that happens, I understand. But like other than that, no, I never ever heard of a man talking another man's hair. It's unnatural. It doesn't even serve any purpose. Like you're not doing any DPS. It's not right. Like why you do that? Don't guys don't go for hair because it's a sissy move. I don't even know if it's a sissy move. It literally never crossed my mind. Like never in the fights that I got in did I ever consider I need to go for the man's hair. Like it's not a strategic advantage. There's no there's no goal. Dudes generally don't attempt to maim one another, and if it's a good drawn-out struggle, the dudes will generally go and be buds afterwards. I mean, even like women don't try to maim one. At least the ones in my country when I was. But like it was just like really long, really dragged out, and really painful. There was like another girl though, who knew a little bit of street fighting. Like the other girl was trying to pull her hair, and she just like used her knee in order to hit her in the gut, and she was like, bleh. It was like everyone in this playground was like, what the fuck? But yeah, so usually like women would fight over boys though. Like that was the reason that they were fighting. Which again, like I don't really get why. I mean, I guess like she stole her boyfriend. I wonder like how the guy feels. You know, like the guy feels like knowing that two women are fighting over him. Because the thing is, like evolutionary speaking, like when every species of animals, like every species of mammals, have like the male fighting. So the males are fighting in order to win the female, right? But like two females fighting for a male, I don't even know if that is in the nature. I don't even know if that's ever a thing. Children play games. Makes sense. Women keep playing their gossip and bullshit all their life. Coomer Legion will prevail. Let me show you something about Coomer Legion, right? Like, I have managed to capture what I consider to be the best picture which describes the situation that we're in, right? So this is like, if someone asked me, it's like, hey V, do you have a picture to describe the state of video games? I would be yes. Yes, I actually do. I have the perfect representation, right? This is what I like to consider the dark age of gaming, which is where the West is at now. This is what I like to consider the renaissance of gaming, which is where the East is at now, right? This is what the people at BlackRock like and enjoy. This is what the customers like, you know? This is the beauty, the perfection, the Aphrodite. This is the decadence, the California. What I love the most about it, like this is a female character, by the way. You know, when they announced that they will have a transgender character in The Last of Us, unironically, I thought that it's going to be Abby. But no, Abby is cis. And when you see her like this, you're like, what the? You're more likely to find a unicorn than to find a woman that have like these abs. It is what it is, but this is the state of video game. This is what Americans like. This is what the rest of the world likes. I wonder if like this is the type of women that you see in California. Yeah, like this is what they call mature and respectful, right? I'm not kidding. Like imagine that you take a person from 30 years ago and you show him like this is art. It's like, why did you draw it like that? It's mature and respectful. Like, take into account that this is not like an actual person. This is a 3D rendering, right? Like imagination is your oyster. Like you can literally draw her and make her any way you choose But the production team specifically went with this design. And the question is why though? Why did they think this is a good design? Because it's not a realistic depiction of a woman. That's the thing, right? Like women, like finding a woman that looks like this in real life, it's more likely. It's more likely that you find a woman that looks like this. It's easier. I can find like than to find that looks like this, right? So why did they do it? To be fair, I don't live in California yet, so maybe like there's many women that looks like that. Abby Armstrong, ooh. No, she wasn't based on an actress. But even then, you know, like here's an idea: hire a different actress. Hire a different actress. It's not like there's only one actress in the entire state of California, yeah? There's many actresses. Hire a different one. Jesus. How did the Orville manage? How did Cobra Kai manage? Like, surely there are beautiful people. I wonder, like, if Abby was hot as fuck. If killing Joel would have had, like, the same reaction from the crowd. Like, okay, imagine this. Imagine if Abby looked like Nier Automata, right? And she kills Joel. But you get to see, like, her pantsu. You get to see her ass. I wonder, like, how would people feel about it? Because the thing is, like, when you see fan service, it kind of, like, disconnects your brain for a little bit. Like, neuron goes stop. The character was based on an actress and the actress was fairly attractive. Well, then it goes back to my initial point. It's like, why did they choose to make her like that? V, if Abby was an anime tomboy, she would be more acceptable. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. If she was an anime tomboy, she may have been more acceptable, but even then, it's kind of difficult to sympathize with the character for many reasons, but I think, like, look, that is one thing, just one thing, which makes any character instantly unlikable. And that is if the character is sadistic. If the character is sadistic, it's very difficult to sympathize with them, regardless if they're a hero or a villain. In fact, no, you know what? Like, a sadistic villain may actually be more sympathetic because you can think that they're redeemable. Right? Like, maybe at some point they can realize that they're doing harm and they can change. So, for instance, like Homelander, right? Like, Homelander is sadistic, but he's still likable. The thing with, like, when you make a hero that's sadistic, or an anti-hero, or someone that you want people to connect with, it just doesn't work. Like, it's really difficult. Usually anime tomboys have big boobs as well, you know? It's fine. Like that is actually one of the cool things. When a tomboy has big boobs, because, like, she's acting like a guy, but the boobs remind you, well, actually. She looks nothing like Abby. Yeah. No, I mean, this is a trend in Western entertainment now. Like, they take an actress, which isn't even that beautiful, right? Like, she's not gorgeous looking or anything. She's like a 7.
Countries seem mostly unaware.
What the fuck?
They think that is nothing.
The fuck? Why did Tucker Carlson started speaking? Anyway, right? So, they take, like, an actress, which is a mid, usually like a 7, and immediately they uglify her even further. By the way, for those of you who don't know, God damn it, either V is late or I am. I think that I was actually early now, so definitely you're late. Yeah. The thing with Tucker is upsetting the world right now because Tucker has interviewed Vladimir Putin. Actually, I don't know if he interviewed Vladimir Putin yet. But he's about to. And the interesting thing is that there were a couple of leftists that called him a traitor. A traitor to America. and there's, like, 2 interesting things to be said. Like, number one, the United States Congress did not declare war on Russia. Right? So, like, in order to be a traitor, You'd have to like have America be at war with Russia and to care decide to interview Putin. But this is, you know, like, hold on, aren't they like journalists from the West that interview like Hamas terrorists or Hamas leaders and shit? Like didn't that happen? Chat, like, please fact check me if I'm wrong or not. I'm pretty sure that I have seen interviews with representatives from Hamas in the Western media. But anyway, right, neither here nor there. The interesting thing is that you have Democrats, journalists, activists, people on the left that are saying that America has no culture, that America has nothing to be proud of, like what really is American, you know, like the borders shouldn't be. And if you don't have any of those, how can you be a traitor to a culture that doesn't exist then? Interesting, isn't it? So like there is no culture when you want to be proud of it, but when you have a duty, all of a sudden the culture manifests itself. That isn't true. Leaking classified info to Canada would be treason. Who leaked classified info to Canada? Hassan Piker did? No fucking way. Did Hassan Piker interview like a person from Hamas? Get the fuck out. I don't believe that. Hassan literally platformed the Houthi? Oh, God. CNN had the team during the attack. Yeah, but like, Bin Laden was interviewed? Yeah, that's true. Bin Laden was interviewed in a cave. I remember that. Yeah. The thing is, though, here's my take on it. I don't think that the issue... there is no circumstance that I can think of. I mean, please correct me if I'm wrong. Like, if you can find a counter argument, go for it. But there is no circumstance that I can think of where someone shouldn't be allowed to simply talk with someone else. So I'm not saying, like, follow the person's orders or do what they want you to do or you know, obey their commands. No, but like a situation where if two people want to talk, they should not be allowed to talk because there's a danger if those two people communicate with each other. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that there is anything that is said with words that the public shouldn't be able to have access to. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like, can you guys think of a scenario where like someone says something and you shouldn't be allowed to listen to what they had to say? Because that would imply that you lack the mental cognition, right? Like you're like mentally deficient and you can't be trusted with making your correct decisions. No, even a pedophile. Yeah, like even a pedophile. If a pedophile, right, goes to court and has a lawyer to defend himself, why shouldn't he be listened? Maybe he didn't do it. Maybe he has a defense. Why, right? Like, I don't get it. And even if, like, okay, why shouldn't Tucker Carlson be able to interview a child molester? Like, if he wants to interview that person, why shouldn't he? You know, like, you don't have to listen to it. You can say, wow, that's a disgusting person. I don't want to listen to what they... That's fine. But if someone else wants to listen to it, and they're like, well, I'm curious, like, what goes into the mind of such a person? Like, what type of individual does something like that? You know, like, you should be able to watch the interview. If the government is for the people that any citizen should have access to, for example, all government info, I kind of get, like, you know, not having access to, like, military secrets. Like, for example, what is, like, the latest technology in aircraft? I get it. You know, like certain things should be restricted from the public. That's fine. But other things, not so much. The chick from Stellar Blade is proof that you can scan, reproduce a real person into a video game. And everyone that says it can't be done is lying. That is absolutely true. They actually say that shit. And even then, it's like, if you can't scan a person in a video game to the point where it looks good, then why do it? Why not choose like a different graphics? Why not do what Bayonetta does? Like Bayonetta doesn't go for realism, right? Who said that video games should all be realistic anyway? All AAA games now are realistic. I remember growing up with Command and Conquer and Red Alert, right? I grew up with Prince of Persia and other games. They weren't realistic. That's fine. You don't have to be realistic. They have no right to redact details about the Kennedy assassination. Yeah, that is 100% true. Can't you get them with a FOIA request? Like, how exactly does it work? Because I know, like, FOIA requests are a thing. Like, do they get to say, like, no, this is classified, you don't get to watch it? Yeah, they're literally blaming CGI, yeah. We're at that level. The interview is not the problem in itself. Why I want to know if he is going to make Putin actual question or if he's going to give him a handjob the entire interview. So what if he gives him a handjob? Let's assume he goes there and gives Putin like the softest questions ever imaginable. So fucking what? Why is the CNN going there and giving him like a hard question then? Why is Tucker Carlson the only guy in the West that's interviewing Putin? Why is the CNN going there? You know, like, this is where competition comes in. If there is a craving to listen to hardball questions, then surely CNN should be there. And MSLSD, and Hassan Piker, and everyone else, right? I mean, if you're going to ask softball questions, and you're going to have, like, a low audience because no one is interested in listening to softball questions, then the person that goes there and asks the hardball questions is going to have amazing ratings one day. I'm really tired of the idea. It's like, okay, well, this is like a person that you should interview and it should have hardball question. This is another person that you should interview and it should have a softball question. I obviously don't know what Tucker is going to ask him, by the way. I haven't seen the interview. I prefer interviews where they ask the type of questions that I would ask if I was there, and then you just let the person talk so that the audience can make up their minds for themselves. I mean, we live in the age of the internet. If he's going to lie or say shit, it's going to be on the internet. Like, people are going to call him out on it, right? It's not like before where you would read the newspaper or you would watch the television and you had no way to talk about the news. No, like now, you watch the interview, it's on fucking Twitter. You watch the interview and then you go into the comments section and you're going to see people calling him out if he, you know, allowed Putin to say something that's not true or whatever. Like, you're going to see people there. Piers Morgan throws softballs for Zionists all the time. I mean, look, what wasn't there like an interview with the guy from the ADL? And he was lying his ass off about Elon Musk. He was basically saying, oh, we as the ADL, we never tried to influence the advertisers for Twitter. Even though he was bragging before that he did. And apparently he was like, no, if you criticize the ADL, it's actually anti-Semitism. And it's like, no, you're an organization. You're not like... The Jewish people of Earth did not elect you as their representative, right? Like, you're just an NGO. None of that was being said, right? Like, there were very softball questions, and immediately when the journalist even implied that there may be something of criticism that the ADL CEO did, representative, sorry, even then, like the ADL just went, do you want me to call you anti-Semitic too? And the journalist goes like, bow, 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 bow. It's like, okay, I don't need to actually hear hardball questions to know what's going on. Like, it's so fucking obvious that the guy is abusing his institutional power in order to try and push censorship on Twitter. Like, that's what I got from the interview. Even though, like, that wasn't said, even though, like, you don't need him to say that, I looked at what he did, and I looked at the lies that he said. It's like, you can't go on Twitter and say, yes, like, we encourage advertisers to not advertise, and then you go on an interview and you say, well, we never actually did that. It's like, yes, you did. There's screenshots of it. you can't have the person you're building up to be a villain in the media being well reasoned and making valid points. It reminds me of Bashar al-Assad, right? Like the thing with Bashar al-Assad and the whole Syrian thing. Like I genuinely don't think Bashar al-Assad is a nice person. All right, like let's just put that out of the way. But he is definitely not what the West was portraying him as. Like every single time he was winning, all of a sudden CNN would be like, "Oh, there's gas attacks in Syria, gas attack, guys, gas attack," and the Americans were like, "Oh gosh darn it, I guess it's time for us to go in." It happened 3 or 4 times to the point where it was almost predictable, right? Like I would go on the internet and I would be like, "Oh, Syria has won this battle. I guess it's time for the gas attacks now." It's kind of like, you know, like what is the only thing? What is the only thing that would make us lose at this point? Like we're finally winning the Civil War. What is the one thing that could turn the tide? And that was like if we use chemical weapons. If we use chemical weapons, then the United States says that's a red line and they're going to intervene, right? And it was like almost every single fucking time. It's like, oh, we're winning the Civil War. Up, we crossed the red line. Okay, the Americans are coming in. It's sending us back. And the only explanation for this, right? Because like you needed to have like, why is he doing this? Like what type of person does this? You know, like imagine if you're playing a strategy game of civilization or whatever, and you're winning, and just before you finish the game, you sabotage yourself, right? Like why would you do that? And the only answer is like, well, the person must be a madman, right? Like there's no other explanation. He's insane. And that would be the only plausible, logical explanation. Like he is batshit crazy. That, you know, he is mad with power. He is like a comic book level. Well, actually, even Marvel comic book villains have more common sense, right? So when he was finally interviewed, the media lost its shit. And the reason that the media lost its shit is due to the fact that he seemed reasonable in the interview. He was speaking perfect English. He was articulating his grievances, and you know, like I don't know if he was lying or not, because like I'm not that familiar with the situation on the ground. But what I got is that 100% the man wasn't crazy, right? Like he wasn't insane. You could make the argument that he was malevolent. You could make the argument that he doesn't care about human rights. Sure, but like you couldn't say that this is a person that if he was to stand trial, the judge would find him unfit. Right? So that's why they don't like interviewing. V, you're not supposed to make up your mind. You're supposed to listen and believe to the government. Yeah, that's the American way of thinking, unfortunately. If you watch my main channel and you saw the guy who was taught critical thinking by a university professor, it's absolutely hilarious. Listen to Chosen Knight's Lament Edgy song, not on stream. Well, I'll listen to it when the stream is done. Thank you, Tariq. No, but the thing is, like, see, this is what most people think. They start talking about Assad and his politics. That's not my point, right? I'm not saying whether or not Bashar al-Assad is right or wrong. That's not the issue. The issue is that the media was portraying him like an insane person. And they didn't want him interviewed because the moment he got interviewed, he didn't come off as unhinged. Right? I mean, look, you can still be a sane individual and do horrible things. Right? Like you can be like a calculated Machiavellian type of person. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you're mentally insane. The way that they described him was like, no, he's complete lunatic. But it's not only that. Like I guess he was being described in a way that he is smart and competent when he is winning, but just as he's about to win, he does the only thing that would get the Americans involved. So as he is about to win, he becomes mad with power, I guess. And all of a sudden, he's pushed all the way back to the starting line. It's kind of like what Russia is doing right now with Prigozhin, right? So Prigozhin. It's prick goes in, right? Prigozhin. I actually wanted to see what Russia's official statement is, right? Because Prigozhin's plane exploded, right? The West says it's a missile. I unironically think the West now is right. I do think that it may have been a missile. Obviously, like, you can't know, right? Because you can't go right there and check for yourself. So you have to either believe the Russian sources or the Western sources. I tend to believe the Western sources. But what do the Russian sources say, right? Like, what do they claim? And apparently what they claim is that Prigozhin may have been intoxicated with la cocaína, right? and he took a grenade and started playing with it. And the grenade exploded in the plane, right? So, like, the man who travels with his private jet for like the last decade or so, all of a sudden decided to play with the grenade in the middle of the plane. That's their explanation, right? And if you're a Russian, you have to believe that explanation, because otherwise there's consequences. Otherwise you can get in prison. Otherwise you can get arrested, right? So what do you do, right? Like, what do you do in that situation? Yeah. He was basically high. No, unironically, that's the explanation that the Russian high command has, right? The Russian government is that he was basically high on la cocaína, and he decided to play with a grenade in his plane. Like, he took a grenade, pulled out the pin, and it exploded. How did they know if it was cocaine, if he exploded by grenade? No, well, they're assuming, right? So, like, they're not entirely certain. But basically they say that Prigozhin was renowned for taking drugs, right? So they're assuming that he may have been high when he did this. So they don't know for sure, but, like, they do know that it was an explosion from inside the plane, right? So that's what they know for sure. And the question is, like, why would the plane have an explosion inside? And their explanation is, well, it was a grenade. Granata! Boom! Right? Like, that's what they're saying. I don't believe that, to be honest. But if you're in Russia, you have to believe it, because otherwise there's consequences. I believe it. It also sounds like something Hunter would do. I mean, to be honest, it's the same level. Well, actually, no. Like, the Americans were a little bit more... I don't know if I can say realistic, but, like, it was a little bit more believable, right? With Epstein. It's like, okay, so he was in a prison in maximum security. He was taken off suicide watch. His cellmate was transferred. The guards were asleep. The video cameras didn't work. And he used toilet paper in order to commit No. Which one is more believable, though? Like, unironically, is it like this mercenary guy that decided to play with a grenade in the plane, or the American version of how what's his name? Epstein died. Which one? Which one is the more believable scenario? Yeah, isn't that what they say, that he used toilet paper to do it? Apparently, like, he used water or something in order to make the paper more ropey. The Russian one is more believable. Yeah. No, unironically, I believe the Russian more. Obviously, both are fake, in my opinion. But if I were to choose, I would say, well, the Russians at least, okay. I mean, if the guy is actually high, and they do have, like, grenades in the private jet, and he got in a fight with someone, and he wanted to scare people off, but, like, okay. Yeah, I mean, theoretically, it's possible, I guess. I don't know, man. I don't know, but, like, dude, if you don't believe me, Google the official story. I'm not making this shit up. I'm spewing bullshit. Well, okay. Well, how did Epstein commit suicide then? Like, what is the official narrative? I'm pretty sure it was toilet paper. Hold on, I'm going to ask ChatGPT. How did Epstein commit suicide? It's thinking. I don't have real-time or current event information. So it was officially ruled a suicide by the New York City Medical Examiner's Office. And if I want more information, ChatGPT... Like, even ChatGPT doesn't want to touch this shit. Even ChatGPT is like, nope, 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 nope. I'm going to look at Wikipedia. Maybe Wikipedia touches it. So, death by hanging, right? But like, what did he use? I can't find it. Holy shit, did they not say? Why do you care if we... Why do they care if we believe them? What do you mean, why do they care if you believe them? Like, if you don't believe them, then all the billions of dollars in propaganda are for nothing? The thing is, like, when you start believing them, you train yourself to lie, and that's what any propagandist wants you to do. We've proven we're all worthless, niveling cowards who won't do anything about anything. Yeah, but that's not how it works, right? Like, any dictator, regardless if they're a king, a monarch, right? They still need at least 40% of the population on their side. Was it bed sheets? Hold on. I don't think it was bed sheets. Okay, I found an article from Fortune magazine. So, no, it doesn't say bed sheets. Oh yeah, no, never mind. It was bed sheets. Yeah. So it was a strip of bed sheet around his neck. But is it? Don't they have like procedures specifically for that not to happen? Like don't they have like bed sheets made out of a certain fabric, which makes it impossible for a person to do this? Like specifically because it's a maximum security prison and they don't want the individual to harm himself. He was in a special cell with articles specifically made to prevent this exact scenario. Yeah, that's what I thought as well, right? Because the thing is, like, maximum security prison, for those of you who don't know, it's actually worse than death, chat. Like no, seriously, I would rather be sentenced to death than in a maximum security. Like, okay. Let me show you how it looks like. It's the most inhumane thing you can ever imagine. Let me see if I can find the picture. Alright. Oh, they have TV now? If they have TV now, then maybe the situation will change. No, they don't have TV. I guess it depends on the prison. Like, maybe in some prisons they get TV for good behavior or not. This is maximum security, chat. This is how it looks like. That's it. Right? You got your bed. You got your toilet. You got, you know, a little chair where you have like a little desk, and that's it. That's it. 24 hours, 7 days a week. This is your life. This is what you get to see. This is what you get to do. This is smaller than a bathroom. Okay? There's no light except for the artificial light. There's nothing. You don't have a computer. You don't have a phone. No. That's it. Imagine staying 10 years like this. To be fair, you do get like 1 hour yard time. And when they take you on the yard, you're alone, right? There's no other human being there. You're alone in a cage. So even on the yard, they have like this cage, and you get to walk in it, you get to stretch your legs, and that's it. Right? Now, imagine living like this for 5 years. You get certain ideas in your head. You get certain impulses, so like they know. Which is why everything in the cell is designed so that those ideas don't come to fruition. Because then the prison is responsible. Right? So this is why it's such a shock. It's like, well, how the fuck did it do it? El Chapo's cell is worse. Why is the jail very clean? Because it's not occupied. To be honest, I do expect that most of these prison cells would be clean. Simply because, like, there's nothing to do. Like, you have absolutely nothing to do. I think, like, hold on. Yeah, this is El Chapo's cell. Why do you say it's worse? It looks identical. It looks identical. Again, I don't know if this is a TV. Like, if at least they would have a TV, life would be a little bit more bearable. But other than that, it's just like, wow, Jesus Christ, holy shit. Like they say, when Saudi Arabia does corporal punishment, like in Saudi Arabia, they have caning and stuff. Dude, that is preferable. Unironically, hands down, it's like... Japanese prisons are worse? I don't know. I haven't seen how Japanese prisons look like. Can't they at least give you pen and paper? I don't know. I think they do. Like they must give you something, though. V, would you rather be in an American Supermax, an Eastern European jail, or Japanese prison? So I don't know what a Japanese prison is like. Eastern European jail is absolutely horrible. I mean, they have like 10 or 20 people in the same room. I want you to imagine, right? So an Eastern European prison looks more like a dorm than anything. So like there's different challenges. Let me see if I can find an image. Yeah. I think I can show this, yeah. I'd rather not. So I think it matters like how much time you have to spend, right? So like if you have to spend 1 year, I would definitely go for the American Supermax. If you have to spend 10 years, I don't know. The thing is, like, in a Romanian prison, or Eastern European prison, you don't know, like, you're going to be in a cell with 9 other people. And all of them are probably going to be hardcore criminals. So your chance of survival with dignity intact is pretty slim. I don't know how a Japanese prison looks like, though, so... 4 to a cell, and you get bedrolls in Japan, and your family pays for your stay. You clean and do all work, cleaning and cooking. That doesn't sound that bad. I mean, considering that you're a criminal, right? So, look, the only thing that I would want in a prison, like if I were to ever go, would be to just be allowed to serve my time. So in an alternative universe where I done fucked up as a kid, and I ended up in prison, I just want to serve my time, right? Preferably, if you learn a skill, that would also be good. But in reality, it's it is what it is. PGW said Iceland gives jail cell keys to prisoner. Do they? Turkish prison equals the worst Eastern European prison. The worst prison in the world, from what I understand, is I think in Mexico. They have like this prison. It's considered to be the most dangerous in the world. Guards don't go in there, right? So like the guards are outside the prison. And unironically, this is like advocated as it's good for human rights because you allow the prisoner's dignity to have autonomy and shit. Yeah, okay. You go in the prison and yeah, it is hell on earth. Like there's no guards, literally no guards whatsoever. So you have like the prisoners themselves that are running the show. So they're very. I saw a documentary on it. They're very organized, right? So like the top guys, they wear tracksuits to mark the fact that they're the authority. And they have like their little offices, and when you go in there, like they have computers and internet, and they check you in. And then if you give them money, they give you like a room and a place to stay. Well, a room. They give you a cell, basically, which is yours. And if you don't have money, then you're in tough shit. Because, you may actually end up sleeping in the yard, in the elements, right? So, it's also very expensive. Like, apparently, yeah, Ecuador. Sorry, my bad. In Ecuador, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. But, I guess it's like the type of country that has given up on rehabilitation and just wants to separate the criminals from the law-abiding citizens. Largest prison on the planet is the Gaza Strip? No. Largest prison on the planet is North Korea. There you go, Tariq. There you fucking go. I take your Gaza Strip and I raise your Korea. North Korea is the biggest prison on the planet. Hashtag change my mind. A border that keeps people out is a fence. A border that keeps people in is a prison, Tariq. What are you gonna say about that, Tariq? Actually, you know what? Like, there are people that do live the Gaza Strip. Like it's hard, but technically it is possible to leave the Gaza Strip. There aren't that many people that leave North Korea. China is not a prison. You can leave China. Like, if you're a Chinese person and want to leave and go to the United States, you can do so. No one's stopping you, right? But like in North Korea, if you want to live, you are unable to. Like, they do not allow you to leave the country. It's very difficult, actually. In order to leave, I think, like, you need, like, a permit as a worker. That they allow, like, a couple of workers to harvest wood in Russia. And I think, like, they allow more workers to do some things in China. If you're an athlete, you can actually leave. But other than that, no, you don't leave, yeah. The prisoners are also the guards? What, in North Korea? No. No, I mean, look, if you're born in North Korea, you're not a guard. And even then, I guess, like, you can say that the military, right? Because, like, they use the military to defend the border. Yeah, so, like, technically, when you reach the age, right? Like, when you're of the age, you become part of the military service. And you may be assigned to defend the border. But even then, like, the demilitarized zone is not the way you want to go. Because they have a minefield there. So I guess the only way to escape would be through China. And if the Chinese catch you, they send you back. So in a way, the Chinese are also the guards. Like, there are videos where you have, like, I think it was, like, in the embassy of China. You have, like, this guy which manages to make it. But the Chinese police is catching his wife. And they're trying to pull her away from the embassy. And the guy is, like, crying and he's distressed. And the thing is, like, if they catch you, right? Like, so first of all, if you manage to escape North Korea, your family is in danger. because they persecute the family of the people that desert. And if you go back, you probably wish that you didn't make the trip back home. They built a golf course in the DMZ. Nah, I don't believe that. Palestinians get to leave Gaza all the time. I heard that you can actually leave under certain circumstances. Like if you set your mind to it, it's not impossible, basically. It's very difficult. But it is more likely to leave Gaza than to leave North Korea. Let's put it like that. Anyway, right, so I'll end it here. Thank you guys for watching. People say that I did an outro, but if I did an outro, would it actually be my show anymore? Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.